Hey, good morning. How you guys? Um, what day is it? Wednesday. So it's Wednesday. I'm going to say it's like the 13th. Is it the 13th? Um, yeah, the 13th of May. Hi, welcome. Hi, Jason. Thanks for being there. I was downstairs. You've been in my house, so you know I was downstairs and Trevor and I got into a conversation about Osho. We were talking about Osho. Good morning, so then all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, what time is it? Um, and we were talking about love. Hi, Tracy. We're talking about love. Does anybody really know what love is? Um, when 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 we look at unconditional love, um, there's no in unconditional love. There's only yes in unconditional love. And how do we how do we how do we evolve into that state of unconditional love when our ego says, yeah, but I'm only human, yeah, but I, you know, ego is always trying to talk us out of it. Unconditional love, and or we think it's coming from outside of us, and we're judging in each moment, um, you know, whether it's enough or whether it's good or whether she loves me or whether he loves me or whether, you know, and it's just got nothing to do with anybody outside of us. We, pretty deep conversation. Trevor, was it a deep conversation? Yes, we were deep in love. And yeah, those are the conversations I enjoy. Okay, love. Do you feel love? What does love feel like to you? Is it a feeling? Is it emotional? Is it romantic? You know, is love unconditional? My brother used to say love was an honest caring for another human being. Kind of a simple description, an honest caring for another human being. So here we are, May 13th. I've only been reading this for 13 days. I started the 1st of May. It seems like forever, doesn't it? It's like, holy Toledo, less than 2 weeks. And this little book, the 24-hour day book that I've been reading with you guys every morning, you know, I look at it in some ways, I think it's a little bit conditional, you know, but I recognize that everybody's at different places in the game, and everybody's in different places in their awakening and in their consciousness level, so this hopefully is of some benefit to some of us as we trudge the happy road to destiny. So I told you it was mentioning that this was written in 1954-ish by a man who actually, you know, showed the author as anonymous, but when you Google it, you can see. And it was meant as kind of a guidebook. Hi, Tracy. Good morning. It's kind of a guide for the folks who were at the time in the 12-step group, which was only AA at the time, pretty much. I think there hadn't as yet been any thing else started. I could be wrong, but you know, AA would have at the time been, you know, 15 years old. You know, Asif, hi Asif, hi. Thanks for dropping in. So I'll read this, and so it starts with a thought for the day, then a meditation for the day, and then a prayer for the day. And we'll go from there. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for dropping in. So the thought for the day is, in the 12-step world, or it says actually in AA, we find fellowship and relief. Need my glasses already. We find, hi Jenny, we find fellowship and release and strength. AA, we find fellowship and release and strength. And having found these things, the real reasons for drinking are taken away. When drinking, which was a symptom of the underlying troubles, has no more justification in our minds, we no longer need to fight against drink. Drink just naturally leaves us. At first, we are sorry that we can't drink, but we get to that. But we get so that we are glad that we don't have to drink. Am I glad that I don't have to drink? So his thoughts for the days are quite basic, aren't they? You know, they're. I don't necessarily think the same way as he does. I think that, and maybe he says that we find fellowship and release and strength, and I think that in a way when we come into yes, we find all of those things, but we find love, we find a connection. Brown, hi, thanks for dropping in. Say hi, love you. So I'm reading from the 24-hour day book. I've been reading. This is day 13, and it seems like we've been reading it for a year. It was written in 1954. It's an old text around the 12-step world. Hey, David Stewart dropped in. You know David Stewart? Hey, David. Anyway, so that was the thought for the day. And then the meditation for the day, the meditation says, try never to judge. I love you, baby. Awesome. Thanks. I miss you guys. You know, we were just talking a little bit earlier, Trevor and I. I think this whole isolation thing's over. I don't know if I have a barbecue whether people will come or not, but I think it's over. You know, we're on the other side of it. Let's be respectful of this virus, but it is over. It really is. And hi, Patty Wheeler. Hi, girl. So I'm reading this little thought for the day book. I've been reading it 24 hours a day book, and thanks for popping in. So the meditation for the day is to try never to judge. The mind of mankind is so delicate, so complex, that only its maker can know it wholly. Each mind is so different, acuted by such different motives, controlled by such different circumstances, influenced by such different sufferings. You cannot know all the influences that have gone on to make up a personality. Therefore, it is impossible for you to wholly judge that personality. But God knows that person wholly, and He can change it. Leave to God the unraveling of the puzzles of personality, and leave it to God to teach you the proper understanding. So, in my way of thinking, when we judge, in any way, when we judge, we're in the ego when we judge. We say that we know better than, or we in some way we understand somebody's action, and that we're judging it as good, or we're judging it as bad, or we're judging it as right, or we're judging it as wrong. So judgment is actually a sign that we're not really present. Judgment and complaint are a sign that we're not really present, and that if we get totally present, we know that we don't know, and that there's no possible way that we can understand what's happening for another, or what their path is, or what their course in life is, where they're going. So we have to, possible when judgment comes up, to see it as a gateway to awakening. Okay, when I have a judgment on whoever in each moment, it's a possibility then to stop, to pause, and be here now, free, free of judgment. Imagine being free of judgment. Then there's the other thing that says that when I judge you, I'm judging me. If we recognize that we're in judgment of others, whether we see it or not, we're also judging ourselves as harshly often. So how do we be free of judgment? Be present. you know, and just recognize that we don't know. And consciousness is seeing when we judge. We're like, oh, look, I'm judging whoever. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not judge my fellow man. I pray that I may be certain that God can set right what is wrong in every personality, and to not judge, and to recognize that when he speaks of God, I mean, my image of God is that we rest in God right now. We're in it. It's unnameable. It's on. You know, we can't really understand it. We know there is a universal intelligence. We know there is love. We know there is a blessed being, and we're in that being. We are that being. We're created as all of this. Either he's everything or he's nothing. And even that we call it he is limiting. So there's really no name for God. So the concepts, the mind thinks in concepts. Our mind thinks in concepts. So this screams for an idea of how do I speak of this thing that we are. And what I do know is that if we relax into it, through meditation, if we relax into it through helping others, that we begin to feel it, to experience it, to be it, and whatever its itsness is. Hi, Nicole. Thanks for coming. So that's it. The meditation for the day. It's all about judgment, in a sense of course, not judging ourselves for judging. Just recognizing that how beautiful would it be to be free, because often in judgment, we're arrogantly saying, I know. We're arrogantly saying, I know. And what do we know when we look deeply in? When we look deeply in, what do we know? Do we really know how things should be? I mean, we have our preferences, but do we really know what's even best for us? When we relax into the not knowing and in the flow of life, then we can move freely. We can, we're not worried about what people might say or what, people might think. We can, we can just get up and travel. And be who we are in each moment, and exude love because we don't know. And it's a very humbling place to be, to recognize that that ego has convinced us that we know what's right or wrong or good or bad. And it's all just programming. So outside of the programming is this place of freedom to not know. Freedom to love in each moment. Okay. Love you guys. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful day in Calgary. Now, it's not a judgment. It's a fact. Would that be a fact? Yeah. I mean, if that's a fact, everything. Tracy, all I know is you're lovely. That may be a judgment, but you are lovely. And okay, love you guys. Let's continue to get together. I've been putting these on YouTube too. I would love it if you would go to YouTube and follow our little channel on YouTube. We've been trying to build this YouTube channel, so it's under Bali and Beyond and Project Awakening, and so it would be really cool if you'd go to that YouTube channel and follow us there. Okay, subscribe. Okay, love you guys. Talk soon.